Hello everyone and welcome to KWT's Development Within Outlook module. Today we'll be taking a look at a bit of an overview of the different types of customization that are available within Outlook, and that these are the things that we'll be taking a look at in further detail throughout the rest of this course. So the first thing you want to be aware of is that there is a developer tab. Now often it is not visible when you first set up your Outlook. By default, I believe it's unchecked, so you will want to make sure your developer tab is showing. And if you don't see it, then you're going to go to File, Options, Customize Ribbon, and make sure that the developer tab has been selected for view. You don't need any special permissions to use this. Very few corporations will lock down the developer tab, but you may find yourself in a situation where it's not even available to display. But in most cases it is there, and you can add it back into your Outlook for use. And then once you have that developer tab, you can see you have some options for Visual Basic, for managing your macros, and for designing and choosing different forms to use. So we'll be talking about each of these in more depth throughout the rest of this course. Macros used to be a matter of simply recording keystrokes. So you could start recording, enter the keystrokes that you repeat over and over again, and then save those. You could then have those played back to you multiple times using the click of a button or the click of a mouse. You can still use what we call a macro today, but you do not have the ability to record keystrokes. You can build a macro using Visual Basic Code, but then the same principles apply. So you can assign that Visual Basic Code to an icon or to a control key so that you can play it back whenever you wish. Macros started in Excel and were probably used more extensively in Excel than any other Office product, but they certainly were introduced to all the Office products and were available in all of them. Visual Basic is the language that we use within Outlook, in fact within virtually all Microsoft Office applications. It's an object-oriented programming. You can do some graphical design as well through the user forms. You have event-driven capabilities, so you can put code into places where on a single click you will do this code. On a double click you will perform this chunk of code. You can also have isolated bits of code that you can reference from other places, or that you can run as individual programs via the macro capability. And so there are different places for you to store your code, whether that's in class modules, forms, or within this Outlook session only, depending on what your code is going to be used for. And again, we'll be talking a little bit more about that as we get into other modules. Forms are another way of customizing Microsoft Outlook for use. Every interface within Outlook has a standard form. So when you enter an appointment, when you enter a message, when you add a new contact, there is a standard form underlying them. So you can create custom forms that let you change the way these things look. So you're not stuck with these standard forms that Outlook provides. You can create your own. So if you find the Create Contact is too cluttered, that screen has way too much information that you don't normally use, you can create a custom form that narrows it down to just the fields that you enter when you enter a new contact. And then you can apply that form to be used under certain conditions. At the folder level, you can assign different forms to be used as the default form. So these can be very useful. Very little programming required for these. It is more about adding features, a little bit of graphical design, and it may be more useful for some people, especially if you don't have the programming skills. This may be something that helps you tidy up or make your system work the way you want it to, rather than going through Visual Basic. So we will be talking about that in a further module as well. And that concludes this module.